Oh, welcome to another episode of the 13 News Now Sports Overtime podcast, where we do a lot of talking and a little bit of yelling. Brian Smith is here. He spent all day today in a boxing gym fighting, throwing punches. Brian, welcome back to the pod.
First of all, thank you. Two, no, it was too hot in there to throw any punches, particularly when you have boxers who know how to throw hands. So, no, great time. Getting ready for this. It's fight week with the Davis brothers. That'd be Keyshawn, Kelvin, and Keon. And we mentioned the fact that Keyshawn rather, is coming in as a world champion. So this is his first title defense, taking on Edward de los Santos.
That's right. Representing for the 757, always Keyshawn Davis and the Davis brothers, DB3. And then Shane Fordham is also here. Shane's been fighting demons all week. Those demons were brought upon him by Tyrese Halliburton. Shane Fordham, you've been getting beat up a little bit, but that is all right. We are here. We're ready to go. Shane, how you doing?
Fantastic. Ready to talk some ball. Okay,
good. Thank you for repeating both of those things. And I of course am Connor Reel, and we are here on a beautiful, beautiful NBA Finals Eve. We've also got the Stanley Cup Finals going on tonight. We thought we were going to be talking a whole lot of championship series, and then the New York Knicks went and did something. Yeah, the New York Knicks, who made their first conference finals in 25 years. The New York Knicks, who upset the Boston Celtics. The New York Knicks, who set the city on fire, fired their coach, Tom Thibodeau, yesterday. Should be a shock, but I don't know that it is a shock. Rumors already started even as they approached Game 6. As we've done in our last three pods, I want to start with noted New York Knicks fan Brian Smith. Brian, your thoughts on the Tibbs firing? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it?
As soon as I heard it, I was not surprised in the least bit. Tibbs has a reputation of shortening his lineups, wearing his guys out. That's one. The talk we're hearing these days, it's great. 25 years, they reached the conference finals for the first time, which is great, fantastic. But you're starting to hear some players not quite sure what their roles were, who's responsible for defensive assignments, stuff like that. And you kind of go, that's not good. And, and James Dolan stayed out of it for the most part. But, I remember seeing online, there were Knicks fans saying, fire Tibbs. I at least wanted one more year with him, only because this was the first year you had Jalen Brunson actually having some help, with OG and the guys. And I think they just need a little more time. I still think they need still one or two pieces. That includes Karl-Anthony Towns, but that's just me.
Now, what we know about Tom Thibodeau is that if a player on a Tom Thibodeau team doesn't know his defensive assignments, that's got to be on the player. I mean, there's rarely been a coach in NBA history who you would think would drill his defensive assignments into his players more than Tom Thibodeau. So that raises even more questions. Shane Fordham, your thoughts. Shane Fordham, if you were the GM of the New York Knicks, would you have fired Tom Thibodeau?
At first, I thought this was the wrong decision. But when you look at what a championship coach is supposed to do, what he should be able to do, Tom Thibodeau didn't show he had that capability in terms of utilizing the team, his roster to the fullest. B. Smith, you had talked about this a lot, of course, about how he struggled being able to find bright spots in his bench. No matter who was on the bench, he struggled in being able to put together different lineups, key lineups, situational lineups. We've seen Rick Carlisle be able to do that. We've seen Mike Malone be able to do that, though he does have a Hall of Famer, an all-time great on his team. We've seen him be able to do that. We've seen
had for all of his for his reasons. Mike Malone was watching the Knicks from the couch and might be the next Knicks coach. That name has been floated quite a bit. Go ahead, Shane. I didn't
could be. No. But that's fine. But then you also see Mike Denal, head coach for the Thunder. He was able to do that with all the young guys that he has had in, out there in Oklahoma City Thunder over these past 4 years. So it seemed, you see the Knicks make their first conference finals in years, and you think, well, you got to
25.
keep this guy in 20, almost 30 years.
25 years. I'm sorry. Yes.
You said it. You said it. I didn't think I needed to say it, but you said it. So there we go. But you see what the end result was this year, and you think, well, why change something when clearly they were one of the, if not the best team in the East this year, But I mean, you look at how they got there, what they kind of went through last year. You think, well, maybe if they had a coach that knew how to use more of the roster, maybe they would have beat the Pacers instead of losing in 6 games. So I do think at the end of the day, this was the right decision, especially with who they have the ability to get, like a Mike Malone, like maybe a Mike Brown, dare I say, so I think it'll be interesting to see what the squad does, how they fill that position this offseason.
Yeah, I'll go a step further too. Sorry, Connor. I'll go a step further. I think from a coaching aspect, Tibbs got coached by Rick Carlisle, plain and simple. And a team that's known for its defense looked like it got shredded at times defensively, particularly in the Pacers series, in my humble opinion. I mean, they were dropping 100-piece without even trying hard at times. And that's just a lapse. And so there also was a question about Tibbs not playing today's basketball. He wants to harken back to a time where you play tough defense and all that stuff. And you just got to get with the program these days to do that. That's just my humble opinion.
I think that, a couple counters to a couple things you guys were saying is you mentioned Mark Daigneault with the Thunder and his ability to use his depth. If you just look at the Thunder roster, they just have more depth. I don't think that Mark Daigneault was able to better utilize his bench. I think that his bench is there to be utilized because it has much better players sitting on it. So I think,
but these were also young guys that had to be developed though. Like they didn't just come to the Thunder being able to play. Like except for maybe Caruso. Like most of these guys on the Thunder were homegrown guys, especially their core crew. Like these guys needed opportunity, needed the minutes to be able to develop into the key role players, the star players that they are now. That's what my Daigneault point was. Not to disagree with you that the Knicks definitely have a depth problem, but you can only, as a player, you can only do so much if you're also not given the opportunity in key situations. But sorry, I didn't want to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. And he definitely giving players opportunity is definitely a problem that he has. Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, all guys that were sitting on that bench available to play. Whereas if you go look at the Knicks bench, DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, Miles McBride, Mitchell Robinson, it gets a little thinner, a little quicker. But the counter is if Tom Thibodeau had played DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, Precious Achiuwa, if he had given them more time in big spots during the regular season, then maybe come playoff time, they're able to contribute a little more. So your point is well taken. I think that maybe we need to acknowledge that Tom Thibodeau's situation was a lot more difficult than a lot of people are giving it credit for. And I just want to lay something out here that because things were going well on the surface, it's easy to forget how difficult this can be. The best player on the Knicks, his dad was an assistant coach. And his dad's good friend was the GM. That's a really strange social dynamic to deal with.
By the way, it happens to be in New York.
Right. So, and you talk about how, and you're in New York City, you've got this core of Villanova guys, which on the surface is really good. But as a coach, could that be a little bit difficult to handle? You have the natural chemistry, but now you have to massage egos when 3 of the guys have a natural connection. You have to make that work. I also think we talk about how Thibodeau wants to play tough defense. You say catch up with the times. Look over there in Oklahoma City, and they have built their team on the best defense that we've seen in a long time. I think it's possible to still do that. I don't think it's possible when 2 of your starters are Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, who are huge minus defenders. Now, that doesn't mean you're wrong, and that does Thibodeau need to adjust a little bit. I
Just more
actually
depth.
thought that throughout the regular season, offensively, the Knicks' offense is maybe a little difficult to watch at times, right? But still had the capability of being effective because you've got such talented guys. In terms of whether or not to let him go, I started thinking about Tom Thibodeau, and my brain went down a whole different path. I was out for a walk, and I don't even know if Shane will probably relate to this because he's been watching ball for a long time. He was in the crib with the flat screen, but this is so random and weird. I started thinking about Thibodeau. Brian Smith, do you know that there are teenagers watching the NBA playoffs who don't remember prime Derrick Rose? Isn't that?
I believe that.
I mean, what? That was a tough pill to swallow for me. I got way off track. I started thinking about the early 2010s Bulls. Thibodeau's had a long career, so I don't know if I'm not really, sanding down a good point here, but I just wanted to pour one out for Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
maybe Thibodeau would have a title if it wasn't for that injury, and then we'd look at him a lot differently. The thing I've been hearing a lot from basketball media that I respect is that maybe Tom Thibodeau is a floor raiser. He's going to get you to 50 wins. You're going to win a playoff series.
Yep.
But can he break through that ceiling to then become a championship coach, both in terms of adjusting his temperament and personality, adjusting his rotations, and potentially trying to get a little more creative on the offensive side? You saw that Pacers team moved a lot different than that Knicks team. The Knicks team is a little more built to kind of pound the rock and look for mismatches. But a lot of questions about Thibodeau. For me, I would have been okay if they kept him. I'm okay that they let him go. It wasn't something that I had a lot of passion about. I didn't feel like it was an awful decision, but if I was the GM, I would have brought him back for another year, tried to have some continuity and see what they can do.
I would have.
We'll see.
That's just me. But Tibbs tends to, you've heard me say this before, guys, he tends to grind his starters into the ground at times. We
Does
saw
that
this
affect
last
them
year.
late in the playoffs? Are they exhausted? Is that the problem?
Yeah. I mean, but he did. I have to give him credit. He adjusted this time. He did, but just not enough. And I don't think he had quite the resources that he needed that Rick Carlisle had and took advantage of.
It's March 10th. You're in Charlotte. You're up by 22.
Yeah.
And, Mikal Bridges is on his 46th minute. It's like, what are we doing here? Go ahead, Shane.
I think the question is, as a GM, if you're kind of deciding what to do with Tibbs, you got to think, like, is Tibbs doing something different or better that I couldn't get from some other coach, one that happens to be available right now? Like, am I getting something out of Tibbs that I can't get out of another coach, that, frankly has more playoff experience, has more playoff success.
He's got playoff experience. Tibbs has got playoff experience.
But in terms of success, like if I'm like, for example, you guys brought up Malone being one of those guys who are available right now, signing, writing out one of those job applications, like, updating his LinkedIn, like, hey guys, I'm available. Like if I'm the GM, am I looking at Malone or am I looking at Tibbs and saying, okay, Tibbs is doing something for my squad that I don't think I would be able to get out of Malone, a guy who has actually won a championship in the past.
Two things. Tom Thibodeau did something. He did something for that Knicks squad that they haven't had in 25 years. I mean, that deserves some credit there. And
but do we think that Malone in that same situation wouldn't have been able to do that as well?
I don't know. But
like, if
we do know for a fact he's got a title out of it. We do know that for a fact.
He had Nikola Jokic on his team too. Yeah. I mean, I think we saw Mike Malone get fired, and we saw the Nuggets play some of their best ball after Mike Malone had been fired. So we obviously can't predict what would Mike Malone have done with this roster, but I don't have a huge issue with the firing, and we've seen this in the NBA before. I mean, we saw the Pistons let go of Rick Carlisle. They bring in Larry Brown. They win a title. The Cavs have the best record in the East. They let go of David Blatt. Tyronn Lue comes in. They win a title. Now, again, those teams had some of the best. Well, the Cavs had the best player in the world on their team, but the Pistons team may be a good example.
The Raptors. Saw that with the Raptors. They get rid of Dwayne Casey. They bring in Nick Nurse.
Right. but they also bring in Kawhi Leonard. So, to me, in the modern NBA, so much of it comes down to the players.
Yeah.
The Knicks don't have a lot of player options, so they made a move with the coach. It also, there have been rumblings that there were moments. I told you guys on the last pod, there were moments on the bench with the Knicks during the playoffs that were a little concerning. It didn't seem like those guys were having the best time playing with each other late in the season. Now, that's me sitting on the couch reading body language. So whatever type of actual credit you want to put into that. But they didn't seem like, even when they were winning playoff series, everything was kumbaya. We're a one unit here.
I think in the case of this year's Knicks team, it was the first year. A lot of guys were trying to still figure each other out. Compared to maybe over a couple of years, you had Dante DiVincenzo, you had Isaiah Hartenstein, you had Josh Hart, you had guys who meshed over a couple of years under Tibbs. They trusted each other. They played that way, and Knicks fans really appreciated that. But it's not. This year's team needed another year under Tibbs. That's
the coach's job too, is to bring the guys together. Get Phil Jackson in there, smoke a bunch of shisha, come out the other side, and you're ready to win the title.
But in Tibbs' case, because he has the ability to elevate your team, he will improve your team. Is it capable of winning a title?
That's the question.
You got a short window to do it in.
Right.
What do you say? 3 years? Because he's known to wear guys out. Great coaches. Don't get me wrong. I think Tibbs is an incredible coach. Is he Phil Jackson? I'm not comparing him to Phil Jackson, who the great ones have the ability to adjust whatever circumstances there are and make their team elevate to where they need to be. I don't think Tibbs has that in him. He preaches defense, but you got to be able to make adjustments when that defense isn't working.
But you'd have kept him though.
Oh, for one more year, yeah. Given this team, because they needed another year. It was their first year. Don't get me wrong. Yes. Are there teams who can get key players and win in 1 year? Absolutely. We've seen it happen. But
Shane, final word on Tibbs, Shane.
I mean, I think B. Smith brings up a good point. I wouldn't have been upset if the Knicks did keep him because, like you said, B. Smith, first year new team.
We're pretty opinionated people. We're all so indifferent to this.
Yeah. But one thing I will say is it is a very real fact that Tibbs doesn't seem to know how to really develop talent on his squad. He doesn't really know how to maximize who he has on his roster. Like, for example, Connor, by name, you mentioned Shamet as an example. Under Ty Lue, Shamet is a guy that can give you 10 points a game. But under Tibbs, he's now a guy that averages 5 points. The big difference in that is the minutes. It is the opportunity. So it's interesting how we can see one guy we can see the difference in production in the same guy under two different regimes. Because who knows? I mean, that 5 more points. I mean, that's a difference between 3 of those games out of that Pacers Knicks series. They get 5 more points, the Knicks win. So I mean, you're seeing, and some free throws from Mitchell Robinson for sure. He makes maybe 2 more of them things. but yeah, I think that is a very real issue that Tibbs has shown consistently, at least since he has been in this Knicks organization. So I bring up that question again as a GM. If you're a GM and you're trying to figure out who's going to be your head coach for the next season, when you're assessing, you have to ask yourself, what is Tibbs doing for your squad that I can't get from someone else who may be able to do even better because of their ability to maximize their roster, their ability to maximize rosters that they have had over in their careers.
One other thought, guys. I talked about Tibbs being a defensive-minded guy. Game 1, they blew a 17-point lead. They blew a 14-point lead with less than 3.5 minutes left, less than 4 minutes left in the game. If your stamp and your foundation is defense and you can't do that, it wasn't because of the bounce. I wasn't upset about the bounce. I was upset at the fact that they blew a 14-point lead with less than 4 minutes left in the game. That makes it. That's a problem, because if you can't do that and your footprint is defense, that's going to be a lasting problem.
But you know what goes into that, B. Smith? You know what goes into that? It's because he started playing these bench guys later in the Eastern Conference Finals. He started having more of a rotation where now these guys are coming in cold, trying to warm up, trying to give maintain at least some of that momentum that Brunson, that Cat, that OG had kind of sustained. But you're playing them too late. Like, you can't wait until the semifinal round in the playoffs, the conference finals, to then get these guys going, to get them involved, to get them, sort of warmed up, a part of the system. You can't wait that late to get these guys involved when you're trying to win a championship. It just doesn't work.
I can't relate to that. You know why, Shane?
Why
is
that?
Ready. Because I stay ready. All right. As someone who's worked a lot of benches. No, I'm kidding. It's a great point. Now, you mentioned game one. Yes, you'd like to see them play better defense, but also Andrew Nembhard touched the sun. So that's a little difficult.
He did. He was sizzling.
Do you guys have anything you want to say about Derrick Rose? Nothing. No love for Derrick Rose.
Goat.
He's great.
Wow.
Goat. The goat that never was. The goat that never was.
This is something that I've seen floated by Bill Simmons, was the media person who I heard this from. I don't know how possible it is in terms of the CBA and things like that, the technicalities of it. If you are the Phoenix Suns, okay, and Devin Booker is your best player, you don't want to do a full rebuild. You want to rebuild around Devin Booker. Devin Booker went to college with and was good high school friends with Karl Anthony Towns, and you have no center. Would you entertain?
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah. All right. So a Kevin Durant for Karl Anthony Towns trade. The Suns get a guy who Devin Booker is going to be happy with. They get a center. They get a younger player, whereas the Knicks get Kevin Durant. Now, your only big is really Mitchell Robinson, so that's a little scary, but you've got Kevin Durant. At the same time, you've already got Brunson and Bridges, who are supposed to be two guys who can run your offense. Now you add in KD. Is that really what you need? Do you like the trade from the Suns side? I'm assuming you guys both like it from New York side.
How old's Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant's got to be about 35, if I had to guess. 36.
If this is 3 years ago, I'm going for the deal.
Oh, so you wouldn't do it. He's 36 years old. So you wouldn't do it as New York.
Nah. I mean, you saw what we saw in Brooklyn with him, Kyrie, or whoever was there, just didn't make sense. And I'd be leery as a Knicks fan.
They didn't get to do it for very long, and Kyrie was in and out of the lineup for the whole thing. If I'm not trading for Kevin Durant,
a hot mess because they had Steve Nash as the head coach.
Let me say this.
Steve Nash.
Let me say this. B. Smith, B. Smith, I do agree with you, but not for that reason. Like, I don't think KD was necessarily the problem. Yeah, like, I don't think KD was the problem.
Everybody. He's the greatest superstar in the history of the NBA at fitting in.
Yeah.
KD,
there's no one that KD cannot play with. There's no one KD can't play with. Like, that's like, if KD is the greatest at anything, it's being able to play within a system. Like, his game literally can fit
Shane's
anywhere.
Cooking right now. Shane's cooking.
He can fit anywhere. I just don't think he was the problem in Brooklyn. The problem, I think, was James Harden. Like, you already had Kyrie. I don't think trying to mix in James Harden and Kyrie was a solution. That's what didn't make sense to me, especially when you traded away the depth of your team, the defense of your team, the role players of your team for another ball dominant scorer. Because if you think about it, before they made that trade for Harden, the Nets looked like the best team in the East. I mean, they had Kyrie and KD rolling. They had a great group of role players. Karis LeVert was one of them. But, they had a
with
very
James Harden too.
They had a very well balanced squad before the James Harden trade. So if anything was the problem, it was James Harden. They were fine before that. But looking at back to sort of more on topic in this trade, I do agree with you, B. Smith. I would not, if I'm New York, I'm not trading away Cat for a 35-year-old KD. No. I'm just not doing it. Yeah. Especially because, Connor, like you said, if you do trade Cat,
I'm doing it in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat if it's 3 or 4 years ago, because I know KD had the ability to play defense.
You would trade almost anyone in the history of basketball for 32-year-old KD. I mean, that's without question.
Not if I'm the Knicks. Not if I'm, especially if I'm, because right now, if you trade for KD, you're putting your team in a position where they are now in win now mode. Like you're no longer
they're in win now mode right now.
They're not. No, they're not.
Well, actually,
because they're young.
The
core of this Knicks team is young. They can win now, but it's not necessarily do or die on their ability to win within the next 2 years. They have a young core. If
you're a Knicks fan like I am, it is do or die.
It's do or die
because that's totally different.
Do or die.
That's totally different.
Like together,
looking at it from a passion perspective is totally different. But this team, if you're trading away Karl Anthony Towns, your second best scorer, who is also one of two of your big men, you're putting you're making your team more vulnerable in the paint because Mitchell Robinson is not a scorer. And you can only play him for so long. You can only play him for so long. Like you're making your team more susceptible to being out rebounded, to being outscored in the paint, and you're giving away your youth for a guy who is really probably only going to want to stay on your team for a year max, because you know how KD gets. As soon as he gets bored, he's off to the next best thing.
I'll say a couple things. Number one, I would say that it's much more do or die than you think. One, all of those guys just about are 28 years or older. I mean, it's not that young of a team. Woo! Shane was cooking that. Did you see that sip of water, B. Smith? There was a thirsty.
That was a guzzle.
We'll pause the pod for you to engulf the Niagara Falls, man. I mean, you were saying some great stuff. I'm not mad at you. So I think that here's why they are absolutely in win now mode. One, they have traded away all of their future assets. They do not have any meaningful pathway to acquire talented young players, which makes them be in win now mode. Number two, because of this new CBA, where you have essentially a hard cap with that second apron that they are going to be bouncing up against as the years go forward, having four guys that are that expensive, four guys that are $150 million plus players. Cat is extension eligible this summer, and he's set to make like $70 million per year if he gets the type of extension that he wants. So you're not in win now mode necessarily because you got a bunch of guys in your 30s. You're in win now mode because you do not have the financial flexibility to improve your team. So you need to win right. It's the same thing with the Celtics. The Celtics loaded up so they could win now, even though their guys are young. And now they're going into the offseason saying, we're going to have to get rid of either Holiday or White or Porzingis, because this new cap makes it really difficult to maintain an expensive roster. If you hit that second apron, you start having a ton of restrictions on you that basically destroy your ability to improve your team. So that's why they're in win now mode. And then you mentioned Cat. I do think it'd be a huge issue with the rebounding. I totally agree with you on that. Cat's not providing a whole lot of resistance at the rim. He's a defensive liability. I mean, he is a bad defensive player.
And Brunson as well. At times, Brunson as well. I mean, Brunson
is a bad defensive player. Yeah. And so if you trade Cat for KD, I think that your offense gets a lot more pop, even though he's not a bad offensive player. You get a much more malleable, versatile offense, in my opinion. And
I don't know if it's – I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't know if it's a lot more offensive pop. Like it's you're definitely getting another scorer. You're getting a scorer in exchange for a scorer, but you're losing also more of your rebounding, because even though Cat isn't a defender, he's a scorer, and he does get boards as well. So like I don't think and it's not like, and like B. Smith said, this isn't KD from not even 3 years ago, from even last year or 2 years ago, because I don't think KD is necessarily out of his prime, but I don't think we're getting MVP season caliber, Golden State Warriors, Brooklyn Nets, maybe beginning of his Phoenix Suns era. Like, I don't think we're getting a KD that's dropping 35 to 40 points a night. I don't think what they would be getting would be worth giving up Cat, a guy who has almost a year in this system. I mean, playing less than a season playing with this group, they went to the conference finals. I can understand swapping out the coach, but swapping out a guy who was really at the core of your team, at the core of your success for, I'm not. Sorry,
Cat was second team All NBA. Cat was second team All NBA. He may have had his best season as an NBA player, but he was
an MVP candidate.
He's 50.
He was at an MVP or not an MVP candidate. He was playing at an MVP level. Like he was like his production. Like there was a good stint where we were
doing so well, B. Smith. We were cruising along so well.
That's not conjecture. Like the way Cat was producing, he was often referred to as playing at an MVP caliber level or within this Knicks team. He wasn't a candidate. He wasn't an official candidate, but his production level.
He was not a candidate.
He was not a candidate. His production was on par.
Going to do a little clarity there.
His production was MVP caliber. Yeah, he wasn't a candidate.
He was second team All NBA, and I think that was the right spot for him. Yeah. He is making $57 million next year, $61 million the year after that, or excuse me, 53 next year, 57 the year after that. 61 the year after that when he'll be 32 years old. $61 million. Those reports that came out about guys not knowing their defensive assignments, who do you guys think they were talking about? You know what I mean? I think that with Cat, you may have a ceiling, but that's a little disrespectful to what he just did in the conference finals. I think he played really well. I'm perfectly fine with them running it back with this 5. I still think Kevin Durant is a really interesting option because he's a better shooter than Cat, even though Cat is a good big man shooter. He's a better playmaker and passer than Cat is. And the way Kevin Durant gets his offense, it's just easier, right? I mean, Cat's top of the key. He's doing he's got 9 elbows. He's flying, you know what I mean? Whereas KD is
shouldering somebody's head or something like that.
KD moves better without the ball. I mean, I think your offense would open up a little bit, even though the Brunson Cat pick and roll is an effective cornerstone of a good offense. It's a tough question. Okay, we got an NBA Finals to talk about. We got to move on. We always talk about the Knicks for 75% of the pod, but it's time to move on. I think, B. Smith, if you want to see some of your guys, they're probably in Cancun right about now. So you just go grab them.
They are.
All right.
They were in the first flight the next morning. Yes.
Let's talk about the teams that are still playing. The only 2 teams left standing, the Oklahoma City Thunder, formerly known as the Seattle Supersonics, and of course the Indiana Pacers in their first finals since the year 2000. Trivia question, B. Smith, who did the Pacers lose to in the 2000 NBA Finals? I don't want to put you on the spot. I feel like you got this one.
I want to say the San Antonio Spurs.
Ooh, so close. The Spurs won it the year before. They fell to the Los Angeles Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal's first title. The Spurs got him in 99. I put you on the spot. I hate to do that.
No, it's okay. I know it was 99 or 2000, yes.
So what I want to start with, because we got 2 small market teams, we have a very lopsided expectation in terms of the result here. We have one of the heaviest favorites in finals history in the Thunder. So I want to know, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most excited, 1 being the least excited. How excited are you guys for this final?
Me personally, I love it. I love it. I love the fact. Everybody was moaning when Milwaukee won a title. It's like, get over yourselves.
Moaning?
It's the
Oh, Shane. What are we? Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, when Milwaukee won, they were like, oh, the Giannis factor played a role. So everybody was liking Giannis. But it bothers me that not NBA titles don't need to come through Chicago or New York or LA. It's nice. But yeah, I mean, why not? I said this is a new era. There's no LeBron. There's no Steph. There's no Carmelo Anthony anymore. It's the new cats, and they're coming out of the Midwest.
There was never Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony.
Fans love Carmelo Anthony. I didn't mean to get 4 years. He's a Hall of Famer. I'll say that.
Shane, you know why I'm upset? I'm upset about this finals Because they don't have Carmelo Anthony in that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why is he in the finals?
Throw every finals that has ever happened in NBA history just in the trash.
There is no Carmelo Anthony.
That was the New York bias. New York bias right there.
New York bias, yes. That it just
we'll give it to you, B. Smith. This is tough for you.
Yeah, this is the new era. Tyrese Halliburton. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that, Shane. But I like the fact that you
don't bring it up. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Flaring.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Shane almost got fired this week for his
Tyrese Halliburton 3 times.
Bang, bang, bang. All right.
Bang, bang, bang.
So, Shane, so Brian, you're at 8, 9, 10. You're up high there with your ranking? You're excited.
8. I'll take an 8.
Okay, Shane?
I'm going to say 8, 9, just because I think even though
this enthusiasm, fellas.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's a little predictable in terms of the result, like we kind of know how this is. Well, actually, I don't want to speak for you guys, but I mean, the end result, at least, we kind of know how this is going to go. I do think we're going to see some just overall quality basketball just by the way these two teams play. I mean, two teams that aren't just run and gun teams, but they're also defensive teams. You know, they're fundamental. They move the ball well. You know, it's not a lot of just, you know, James Harden 2016 style basketball, just shooting around. Everyone else is just rebounding and popping it back out. So, I mean, two very well balanced teams, two very well coached teams. I'm pretty excited, just like as a general basketball fan.
And I'm excited too, based exactly on what Shane said, which is that I think both of these teams play super entertaining brands of basketball. A lot of ball movement, a lot of player movement, a lot of good shooting on both teams. But it's hard for me to see the Pacers competing as much as Brian and I have enjoyed this Tyrese Halliburton Indiana Pacers run. It's hard to see them competing. Now, the problem is, I think we would have said that a couple rounds in a row now, and they keep defying expectations.
I say this going 6. In my opinion.
You got 6. I got 5.
I
got Thunder in 5. I think maybe the Pacers get game 3 or game 4. The Thunder go back to OKC and win it. You got the Pacers get what? Shane keeps leaving. Shane, what is he? He's probably filling up that water bottle. He got the sweep. Oh, the brooms are out. The brooms are out.
And why? Tyrese Halliburton's going to average 30 in each game.
Hey, B. Smith, it doesn't look like that broom's gotten a lot of use.
It hasn't.
That thing? That broom is untouched.
It's because my apartment's so clean, fellas. That's why.
We haven't been sweeping it.
Probably use a vacuum cleaner too, I'm sure.
And yeah, I think the Pacers grab 1 in game 3 or 4. There's a little bit of intrigue because the Thunder have never been here before. They've never been on this stage. Now, I think what they did against Denver was their sort of growing up moment. So I think they are ready for this. But they're on the big stage. There's more media than any game that they've ever played. They got requests coming in from family. They got all kinds of texts coming in. They're on the big stage now. But I think the Thunder are built to handle it based on what we've seen so far. And they're so talented. If Holmgren and Jalen Williams were to both just completely shrink from the moment, maybe we might have a competitive series, right? But I don't think they're going to. And they're so deep that they might anyway. Okay, my next question for you guys. I call this segment "Love That for You." I've been using that a lot. I've been trying to incorporate that in my daily vocab. I love that for you. So, "Love That for You" is a segment where I want you to tell me a player on either team that you're just excited that they're here. You're happy for them. You're excited to see them play. Maybe not Halliburton or SGA. Try to avoid the stars here. But give me a player, and I didn't prep you guys for this, so I'll do mine first. Mine is Chet Holmgren. I think Chet Holmgren has gotten forgotten about a little bit because he's the number 3 guy with OKC. He's been hurt a lot in his career, but Chet Holmgren was the top dog coming out of high school. He was one of those 5-star generational prospects. He went to Gonzaga, and as a freshman, was a relatively dominant college player, was in the running for that number 1 pick. I mean, this guy's supposed to be almost a Cooper Flag level dude coming into the league. It's been a slightly slower start, even though I think he's been really good. He's not quite an all-star yet. Injuries have hurt him. But I'm really excited to see Chet Holmgren on this stage. And I think Chet Holmgren is the reason that the Thunder have a budding dynasty. I think he's going to be an all-star caliber basketball player if he can stay healthy for a long time. And as the Western Conference grows and it's Wemby who's waiting for you, Chet is going to be the counter to that for these Oklahoma City teams. So I'm excited to see Chet Holmgren out there running around, fulfilling his destiny as a generational prospect. And I think he's really working on that beard, and I think it's coming in nice. He might have done a little road game there.
You go ahead, Shane.
I got a couple guys actually. One, Alex Caruso. Super excited to see Alex Caruso getting back to the finals. Super excited. I mean, this guy, he honestly, every team he is on, it's like he brings a sort of jolt of energy with him, like sort of a new life, revamp sort of to the squad. I mean, we saw really how he kind of blossomed in LA, playing with Bron, playing with AD. I mean, that team had just loads of team chemistry. It kind of hurt to see them kind of break that apart. Connor, I know you were kind of sad to see that. Sorry to bring up that moment for you.
They let him walk for $9 million a year. They let Alex Caruso walk off a championship team because they didn't want to pay him $9 million a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the guy to 6 titles here.
Yeah, that's definitely in my opinion, one of the most slept on role players in the league.
And like you said, strictly additive. No matter what the lineup is, no matter the situation, he never falters. And like we said with KD, how KD is going to fit in and be additive in every situation. I think Caruso is exactly like that. And I guess we'll go cliche here. He's got that dog in him. I mean, he really does.
He 100% does.
He has no fear whatsoever.
He and the next guy I'm going to get into, they play championship caliber basketball. Like, not necessarily a guy that'll drop like 20. He's not like a flashy stats guy, but he's a guy that'll die for the loose balls. He'll chase down every rebound. He has the ability to knock down those set open shots in the corner from the wing. He's a guy that can bring the ball down. He gives his all on defense. Like, Alex Caruso is the type of guy that definitely makes your team better.
He guarded Jokic.
Alex Caruso
he guarded Jokic.
He did.
He did. Like he's definitely one of the he's definitely one of the Swiss Army knives in the NBA. I mean, even on the Bulls, like he went to the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls looked like they could have made a run for a second there. Him, Ball, I forget who else was over there. I think DeRozan was over there. Like they had that young core in Chicago. They looked like they could have did something in the playoffs. So every team, like you said, Connor, every team he is on, he makes better. He makes them more of a contender. He brings the energy with him. Another guy who I'm happy to see on this stage is Lou Dort.
I love that for y'all. Little double. I love that for y'all.
Yeah, I had to name 2. I couldn't decide which one to talk about, but I had to name 2. Lou Dort. I'm super excited to see Lou here. Another guy who plays that sort of championship attitude, championship caliber basketball, does all the supporting things. A homegrown guy for OKC, a guy that was brought in, developed within that system. I mean, and everything that he does, I mean, really the main reason why OKC is the best defensive team in the NBA. Yes, Shea is a great two-way player. Jalen Williams can defend. Chet, just with his body, his length, the surface area he takes up naturally, that makes it tough. But Lou Dort, a defensive player of the year candidate, is the reason why the Thunder are as fierce defensively as they are. He is the heart and soul defensively of this Thunder team. So it's really good to see him being on the stage, having the ability to kind of earn a ring. Because, I mean, he's a huge reason why they're here. He's not Shea. He's not Jalen Williams. He's not dropping 25, 30 points a night, 19, 20 points a night. But without him, it's possible we don't see this team here. That's how important Lou is to this squad. And it's going to be exciting to see what he does on the final stage.
Anytime there was a debate a couple summers ago, it was like NFL versus NBA. Anytime anyone tells you that NBA players are too soft to play in the NFL, show them Lou Dort.
Yeah, that's a good example.
You know what I mean?
That's a good example.
But him at free safety.
Lou Dort, Jimmy's on that list. I'll put Ant on that list. I'll put
For
Siakam
sure,
on
and
that
on
list.
that
Just the gritty guys. Draymond, just the gritty guys.
No, Draymond. I don't know. What position is Draymond? Yeah, maybe like DN.
No, Draymond's on that list. He's not. Now, if you saw his college footage, I'm not putting him on offense. He's not catching nothing for me. But I'll put him on the D line.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
You know how Mason Rudolph ripped off, or Myles Garrett ripped off Mason Rudolph's helmet and hit him with it. Draymond would do that every other week.
Yeah.
He'd be playing a London game, and Draymond would be just smashing people with his helmet, and everyone in the crowd would be like, "What sport is this?" All right, Brian, what you got? Brian, you got a pacer for us? If you want to go Thunder, that's fine.
I'm going on both teams.
Oh, you're the one to okay, love that for y'all.
I'm going way off the unbeaten path.
Oh,
I'm going from the coaching ranks. Rick Carlisle. There are Virginia
good one
in this NBA Finals. Rick Carlisle, former University of Virginia basketball player, played with Ralph Sampson. Has won an NBA title. His assistant coach, Denny Buchek, I believe they may have gone to school together while they were at UVA. So that's how Rick kind of knows her from the UVA days. So you have Virginia ties there, University of Virginia. And then on the Oklahoma City side, I don't know if you guys knew this, but a guy named Eric Maynor.
Yeah.
Sound familiar? He's an assistant on the Oklahoma City staff. He's a former player with the Thunder. So he's well aware of this franchise and how far it's gone. And, of course, he went to the University of Richmond. That would be Virginia Commonwealth University. Gentlemen. Oh, one other footnote.
I love that you went coaches, but I knew Maynor was going to be
knocked off Duke in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Maynor was one of those. Maynor's a point guard, I feel like.
Yes.
And he was about okay. All right, the very good ones. Rick Carlisle. If Rick Carlisle were to win this title, he jumps into. I mean, he probably already is really up there all time with coaches. God, do we go down this road? All right, let me ask you guys this. Let's say the Pacers lose in 5. Better coach all time, Doc Rivers or Rick Carlisle?
Oh, Rick Carlisle.
Ooh, yeah, Rick Carlisle.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Rick Carlisle.
I love that. I've met Doc Rivers. He's one of the nicest
Name
people.
Drop. Okay, B. Smith.
No, I actually asked Doc Rivers, who doesn't call you Doc? And you know what he told me? He says, my mom. I said, makes sense to me. I remember Doc Rivers as a high school player back in the day in Chicago. He was the truth back in the day.
Trivia question. Yeah. Can we do a trivia question for Chicago point guard? Now I'm thinking about Derrick Rose again, right? Yeah. Can we do a trivia question for Shane? Trivia question for Shane. Shane, what is Doc Rivers' actual first name?
I know that.
I know you do. Well, you know him.
It's
I don't know, but yes.
Decarius Rivers.
They didn't name Decarius for guys in that age group. No.
Decarius Rivers.
No.
Decarius Rivers.
No.
Decarius Lionel Rivers. That's his name.
Decarius Lionel Rivers.
No.
It's much more exciting than Decarius, actually.
Can I answer that?
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
It's Glenn Doc Rivers.
I would have never guessed that.
Never would have guessed that. Okay. So
what's crazy? Hold up. I gotta say this. What's crazy is I got Walking Dead paused right now. I don't know if I have to cut this out of the pod or not. I'm a huge The Walking Dead fan, and literally it's paused on the character named Glenn. Crazy. I had to say that. I had to say that. Yeah, literally. I would turn the camera around right now to show you, but it's crazy. I had to say that.
The mysterious forces that guide us all work in insane ways. That's. I'm very happy for you, Shane. Did you watch The Last of Us, or is it Walking Dead only for you?
No. I'm not caught up, but I am watching it.
Okay, once you finish The Last of Us, come talk to me because I got some things to say.
Yeah,
about
I already know I'm gonna be frustrated because I'm familiar with the game.
Make a real plan. All right. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. That's for our Last of Us pod.
Yeah.
All right. So I went Thunder in 5. I think the Pacers steal either game 3 or 4. The Thunder polish it off in Oklahoma City. If if they can get one of the first 2, I think we're in for an exciting series. B. Smith, you went 6. You went Thunder in 6.
Yeah, I think the Pacers are going to surprise. They're going to steal a game. They're going to steal at least 2 games. Okay. I think they have that ability. If Nesbitt comes anywhere close to what he did in game 1 against the Knicks.
Or Nembhard.
Oh, Nembhard? Oh my gosh, they're in trouble.
Yeah,
Oklahoma City's in trouble. You can't stop somebody like that.
That was once in a lifetime.
Yes.
That was all-time stuff. And then Shane, you went sweep. We saw your unused broom. So you went 4-0 Thunder. And V. Smith, I agree with everything you're saying. I think this is such a bad matchup for the Pacers. I think I think Halliburton, their perimeter defense is so strong. Yes. Caruso, Dort, even SGA is a very solid defender. He's a plus defender. Keyshawn Wallace. I mean, they just have so many dudes to throw. They rotate so well. They're the most disciplined defensive team since like the prime Spurs, maybe. Or maybe
and they have more depth. 15, they got more depth than the Pacers do.
They're so just disciplined. And then the Pacers are going to have to zone up probably to try to get stops here. I mean, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers win at least one of their home games, but I do think it's more likely we see a sweep as opposed to more of a competitive series. I think that what the Pacers were able to do to the Knicks is what the Thunder is going to do to the Pacers. Like the Pacers were able to beat the Knicks off of depth and talent. Like they weren't necessarily more talented than the Knicks, but they had more depth. They had, frankly, better coaching. And they had better strategy. Like I
don't think Carlisle's going to get out.
Carlisle's a good coach.
Well, no. Really I'm not saying Rick Carlisle's going to get out coached, but I'm saying that's how they beat the Knicks. Like, and if you're looking at all of the Pacers, this matchup that they have for the finals is really unlike anything that they have had to see out of these past 2 years. Like out of any other matchup that they've had. Like. Where any other, like they're used to having
Tyrese Halliburton to lose so badly.
Yeah,
it's not even that.
Get 5 points in each game.
It's not even that. Like I honestly think he's gonna get it bad because he's gonna have way more. He's
30 points a game in this series.
Hear me out. The Pacers. This is gonna be unlike any matchup that they have ever had, but this is also going to be the defensive pressure that Tyrese Halliburton is going to have to play under against the Thunder is also unlike anything else that he has ever had to play in the playoffs.
Unlike anything in the NBA. I mean, the Thunder are the best defense in the NBA by a lot, in my opinion. What else I'm looking forward to is if the Thunder go out and win in 4 or 5, the gauntlet is now thrown. We could see an arms race with the rest of the league because if you want to get to the finals, that's what's going to be waiting for you. If you want to get to the Western Conference Finals, that's what's going to be waiting for you. Yes. And it's a team that I think could just put the fear of God in every other franchise. A lot of these franchises, like the Knicks, who have a good roster and had good results this season, are going to say, well, we got to change something because we can't beat that team. That is what the Thunder are looking at, that kind of all-time single-season status and maybe destiny, maybe dynasty status if they go out and dominate.
Programming note, fellas, it is on 13 News Now.
Oh, ABC 13 News
Now.
Plus.
The NBA Finals, catch it on 13 News Now.
Tomorrow night,
change the channel.
Brian Smith will be on after the finals tomorrow night. I think it's game 2 Saturday.
I believe so.
That's a big moment for Shane Fordham. Shane Fordham coming on after game 2 of the NBA Finals. How about that? Shane, tell him to put you in the A block. Tell him to put you in the A block after that. All right.
They need to give me my own block for Rank Tank that day. They need to give me my own block. But
how many times Tyrese Halliburton averages 30 points a game?
Don't bring it up. We made it through the whole pod. Don't bring it up. All right.
I know.
I'd be shocked if he hits 15. I'm not going to lie to you. I would be shocked. Because, think about it. He's going to have the same type of pressure that Brunson had to play under against the Pacers. The Pacers' depth allowed them to have more of a defensive rotation.
But you can't say that because the Pacers are not in the same stratosphere as the Oklahoma City Thunder when it comes to
that's my point.
Ability or intensity.
That's my point.
But don't make that comparison.
That's my point, though. My point is that what the Pacers were able to do to the Knicks, the Thunder is going to be able to do that to the Pacers, if not worse, because they have the depth, but they also have the talent. Listen. With Brunson, right? He had to sort of endure a rotation of Nesmith, Nembhard, and really TJ McConnell. Whenever he was on one, The other
hey,
two had a chance to rest.
Brunson shouldn't be having any trouble with TJ McConnell. Respect to TJ McConnell. Don't throw him. He's a fine defender, but we're talking about
McConnell is a pest. McConnell, and in that rotation, McConnell is a valuable piece in that rotation. Like,
yeah, but
I wouldn't mind, especially
what Brunson had to deal with.
I'm saying
is
in
not
rotation
close
with.
to what Halliburton.
I'm not saying. That's my point, though. I'm just saying.
The reason I got to fight back is because you're already building your case for our summer pods. You're already starting to build your case now, and it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful, Beastman.
You know what I'm getting at, though. That's because you know what I'm getting at. You know exactly what I'm getting at. Like,
I'm gonna let you have the last word, Shane, because I stole the last word from you last pod. So good point. We'll see how it goes. I do think Halliburton's going to have a tough series. I agree with you on that. We also got the Stanley Cup Finals, which are going on right now. The Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid, I guess the LeBron James of the NHL, if you want to make that comparison, after losing in that heartbreaking 7-game series last year, is going to try to go get his title. It'd be one of the better comeback stories in all of sports. I, for one, would like to see McDavid get it done. I know that we are not super hockey guys. We're NBA over NHL, but we try to touch on everything here. Do you guys have any thoughts or rooting interest in the Stanley Cup Finals?
My gosh, Edmonton Oilers in the finals. I mean, you have to go back to Wayne Gretzky.
No, they were there last year.
I'm just saying, they're putting together a run that kind of reminds Edmonton Oilers fans of the great one. So
sure.
Who knows at this point? But Florida, I think they're trying to become the 7th team to go back to back. If that sounds right, guys.
And they're balling. They cruise through Toronto.
Yeah, and I believe the last one was Tampa Bay Lightning.
Or excuse me, Carolina. They cruised through Carolina. They went 7.
Carolina. And the Tampa Bay Lightning's head coach is who? Former Admirals coach.
Heyo.
His name escapes me, but he went back to back and was trying for a 3-peat and got denied.
Shane?
I mean, hockey games are always high competition. I'm expecting to see a big physical game. And it's a championship game. I mean, hockey games as a whole are physical, but I feel like that's got to be elevated in the championship. So,
you know what's crazy, B. Smith, is if we told Shane that Tyrese Halliburton was suiting up for the Panthers, he'd have a 700-word essay on it right now, ready to go.
Let me say.
John Cooper, for the record, as head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, former Admirals coach, led them to a AHL title.
That's right.
This time here in a 28-game win streak. So,
and last thing before we get out of here. Once again, Keyshawn Davis is fighting this weekend in his hometown at the Scope Arena. The last time he did it, it lit the city on fire. It really lifted the city of Norfolk. That night was incredible. Sold out the Scope. I cannot wait to see how high he can fly. We've all had chances to interview him. He's really a wonderful person to interview and to cover. It's been a joy so far. B. Smith, I mean, do you have anything else to add? You've been covering it pretty intensely this week. I think the presser's tomorrow. And Keyshawn, you know he's going to bring heat for the presser. He takes the presser as seriously as he takes the fight. He knows how to sell.
I want to know what the introduction is going to look like when he enters the ring. He and his brothers. So, yeah, Kelvin, Keon, they fighting too. So, yeah, it's going to be flowing with 757 stuff. So, who knows?
Shane, you're going on air after that fight. I know you got a lot of studying to do. I know that you got to prep yourself for the weekend. You've been doing a lot of news this week. You got anything to add on the Davis brothers?
I'm just super excited because I'm actually going to get to go to this fight. So I'm gonna see the whooping in person. I'm excited. I didn't get to catch the last one in person, but I'm gonna see this one in person. I just know from how he carries himself, from how he talks about his preparation, from what I've seen in his preparation, both for the media and just in his own workouts. I have a buddy of mine who actually trains with him or under his
name drop
brand, his gym.
Ooh.
So from what I know about him, I mean, he's a competitor. All he wants to do is win, and that gene is contagious within that family. All three of those brothers are.
All three brothers are an homage to the late Pernell Whitaker, who brought the fight game to Norfolk.
And they honor him constantly.
They honor him.
They reference him constantly. They keep his legacy alive as much as they can. They have a lot of respect for the people who laid the foundation. It's really just been a joy to watch those guys build what they're building. and hopefully it continues on Saturday night. I think that'll do it for the Sports Overtime. B. Smith, go text Doc Rivers. I know you guys probably got breakfast plans or something. Shane, please go sweep the house. All right, put that broom.
Yeah, man.
You didn't just
Put some
buy
dust
that
on that broom.
All right, we good? Anything else we need to hit?
Nah, I think we're good.
That'll do it. Shane, anything?
Nope. If I get started, I won't stop. If I get started, I won't stop.
Talk about Halliburton. You can tell.
Let me say one more thing.
No,
one more thing quickly.
That's the end of the podcast.
One more thing.
David,
Quickly.
David, no, Shane.
You can't name drop.
You gotta go. You gotta sleep. That's it. David, listen.
Halliburton.
We will do this summer. We'll do a big blowout NBA player power rankings pod. We'll dive all the way into it, but we got to give the people a break from our Halliburton conversation. So that'll do it for the pod. We'll see you guys next week.